2023. Roll call, please. Pat?
David Weaver,
Present.
Donnie Greenlee,
Present.
Riley Hartwell,
Present.
John Hurd,
Present.
Derek Gander,
Here.
Brent Jordan,
Present.
and Jeff Kerr.
Present.
Thank you.
You all please join me in reciting the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up is the agenda.
I move that agenda item D regarding MOSO CAPS be removed from the agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion.
At this time, we cannot vote on this. It is incomplete. In the agenda item, the action item, it references an MOU that is not attached. It says it's attached, but it's not. In addition, neither David or I have seen an MOU of any kind. And we cannot proceed with any items where the entire board has not received the information.
Have you looked at item D?
Yes, I looked at all 5 attachments,
Okay.
And there is-
Okay.
but there's no MOU attached. It states in the action item, an MOU is attached. There is no MOU attached.
Item 5.
No,
You want to pull it up?
I did. There is no MOU. Unless it has been changed since 6 o'clock last night, which was a couple.
Is there any other discussion?
Do what?
What was the discussion on the MOU? You remember? Can't think of that.
Yeah, I don't have access.
Had all the documents there. All 5.
There are 5 attachments, but there is no MOU.
Did you look at the end of number 5?
I scrolled through all of them.
All right, well.
Jeff, I'd like to make a recommendation. I don't know if we vote on that one first to amend the agenda.
Okay, well, let's,
Okay.
so the first motion is to remove item D. So there's a motion and a second. Please vote.
Are we done with discussion yet? Can somebody put the MOU on the screen so I can see it?
It hasn't been disseminated to everybody within 24 hours of the board meeting.
Just,
And actually, it's 4 days based on board policy. Board members have to have it in our hands within 4 days.
So
I'm interested from the board secretary, is there an MOU in the, on the website?
I'm pulling up the item now. The first attachment I'm opening is,
we're the same attachments from December 2021. So if this is out of order, that was out of order.
from Mr. Coke. Attachment 1.
I've seen it in there.
Well, here's the action item. Here's attachment 1.
Scroll not on attachment 4,
The
Not on
action
attachment 3.
item From December 24th.
not on attachment 2,
There's that. We'll go to attachment 2.
not on attachment 1.
This is the action item from November 23rd. Number 3. The
Page
information.
down.
It had the draft.
Yes. It's
That's
in
the
number 3.
model.
That's the model budget. That's not the MOU.
That's what was presented in December.
That's not a legal MOU.
So let's vote.
We're voting on,
We're voting on whether or not to remove item C. Please vote.
Or D.
Sorry, D. Thank you.
And is there a memorandum of understanding there? Because I think that the action item references a memorandum of understanding.
it says there is one and there is not one attached.
It's the same memorandum of understanding that was in December of 2021.
Was it in the attachment? So that's
Yes.
my question. Can we put it
Yes.
up on the screen to where I could look at that?
Sure. I don't
We do
know,
not have it.
but it's in that second page that has their details on it.
In with attachment 3,
3.
the proposed funding model.
Yeah.
It is not an MOU. It is a funding
Okay.
model.
So
Those are two different legal documents.
go ahead and vote.
We're not legally able to vote on this by board policy.
MOUs are not a
We're not
legal document.
voting
By
on
board
the
policy.
MOU, we're voting on whether or not we remove item D. That's what's being moved.
But the item D references an action item that references an MOU.
That we do not have.
And that's what I'm asking is, can we see the MOU that's a part of that action item?
Pat will have to look back through the documents of the 2 previous, page 1 and page 2, that refer to the previous board meetings. It's in the first page, it says you can see the MOU from the previous meeting.
You're referencing the action item?
Yeah, look at items 1 and 2, not the action item, maybe the action item. I can't see it, so I can't help you with it.
I'll say action item on section C, data, clearly says there's an MOU attached, and there is no MOU.
But on, okay.
And you're asking us to vote on something we've not received.
No, you're asking to vote on whether or not we remove item D.
Because it's not valid for, we cannot vote on it because it is incomplete, does not have all the
So,
information.
yeah, so your motion is to remove item D, yes?
Yes,
All right, so please vote on that motion of removing item D.
Yes.
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 No,
No.
No.
No, it stays. Now, any other changes?
I would make a motion that we remove agenda item M number 3 from the agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, there's a motion and a second, discussion. Any discussion on that?
On removing that?
Yeah.
No, because I think that'd be a good thing to approach and discuss with the new board members.
There's no documents there.
Yes, it's just a discussion. It's not an action item.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? Please vote.
And whether we voted.
We're voting on removing item M3.
No.
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 yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that motion passes. Okay. Any other changes to the agenda?
I would just, on the consent agenda, number 30, I would like to pull that out for discussion.
Okay. So noted.
I'll second. No, you don't need
You
a
don't need a
second.
second for, thank you.
John, which item is that?
L30.
L30.
That's the construction installation of the 40 by 60 storage
Okay.
facility at Joplin High. That's Matt is working on.
Any other discussion? Any other changes? I'd entertain a motion to approve it as noted.
Make a motion to approve this noted.
I'll second.
All right, a motion and a second, please vote.
To approve the
To
agenda.
approve the agenda minus M3 and pulling out L30 for discussion.
To be moved to the regular agenda.
Yes.
No.
Wait, I one question before I vote. We already voted to remove caps, right? From the regular agenda, didn't we just vote on that?
Yep.
So it's not,
So-
it's gone at this point, so we're really just voting on
Yes.
the storage building. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that passes. Okay. First up, consideration of MOSO caps. John?
Yeah.
Share?
yeah, so, when this came up initially, I was one of the folks that said, hey, look, I'm interested in the program, but I'm not interested in for us signing up for a fixed head count when we don't know what this is going to be like, and the cost was high. We're also coming out of a pandemic. We also realized all of our test scores had fallen. We also realized that 40% of our kids were below proficiency. And so in good conscience, when you balance the 7,500 students we have across the district, along with the challenges facing us, I didn't think it was appropriate at that time for us to run off and focus on a MOSO CAPS program on a head count that we really knew, we didn't know what the program was or how successful it would be. So, we go forward a year.
We've got Dover Hill built. The curriculum is on a consistent basis. All the credit in the world goes to Dr. Sarah Mwangi and her team and the administration for straightening out our curriculum across the district. Understanding one of the big variables was the number of students that moved within district. And when you find out that, hey, we're teaching math 1 week different than at a different school, and now we have kids transferring, that I believe was causing some of the curriculum problems. And our kids' learning and ability in the 40% that were below proficiency. That's a lot of kids. And so when I look at that, I say, well, where are we now? So we have the curriculum straightened out. We're seeing the improvement with the phonics courses that we've introduced in the early grades. We're seeing that the K1, 2 is all green. We're seeing good things happening on the curriculum side of it. We did add counselors to the many of the schools to help with the kids with some of their emotional and mental development. And then when you look at the MOSO CAPS, and this was one of the things I was talking to Carrie about for the last number of months is, similar to what we do with FTC where we charge per head. Now that MOSO CAPS has been running for a year, I never thought it was a bad program. I thought it's a good program. I'm a supporter of Missouri Southern. It absolutely makes sense. It's a nice tie-in, but I think it's appropriate for us to balance out the entire school district, all of the students, all of the education. And I feel much better now with saying, hey, look, that 40% that's below proficiency with the standardization of the curriculum, the introduction of the phonics, the improvement in the grades that you're seeing, that impact happen, and we keep expanding that, I feel much more comfortable saying, hey, look, if we can go to Missouri Southern and say, just change this to a per head count, let's see what kids then can take advantage of the program. And again, as a parent for 30 years and having all 4 of my kids go through the school district, I know that different kids need different things. I know that you don't have, the peanut butter spread across one size fits all, but you want to have a variety of programs. And so I think this is another one that if we can get it as a per head cost, let's see what kids can take advantage of it. And I think it's a win all around the district, but we didn't just run to that while ignoring what was facing us. I think we did a good job addressing the things, the challenges that were facing us, the majority of our students across the district. And so now I just think it's a point where we can take another step forward. And I wholeheartedly support it, but let's be fiscally responsible because that's part of what we're supposed to do with the taxpayer dollars and invest it wisely. And so I feel strongly that if we can get it as a per head cost, just like we have at FTC, we should move forward with it. Why not?
John, you said you talked with Carrie about it.
Yeah, so Carrie, I know is, and Carrie, maybe you can talk for a few minutes on it, but I've had many conversations. I know that you've been working with MSSU to have those discussions and kind of carry it forward. And the thought that I had behind this is if we pass this takes a first step then to say, hey, look, we're serious about it as a Joplin school district. And Carrie can work with Missouri Southern to get that part of it finalized. And you have the board's backing. I just saw that as a win to try to step it forward. And, Carrie, if you'd share just any of the conversation you've had that you're comfortable with, but I know you've been in communication with them. And you and I have talked about this, I think, at least a half a dozen times.
Yeah, I think Missouri Southern would be interested in having us as a partner, no question. I don't know how many spots they have available for sure at this point. That would be for us to visit with them. But I do believe that they'll want some kind of mutual understanding document put together, MOU at some point, but the board so chooses, I will continue those conversations.
I do know that Seneca was approached and they were offered a per student rate for as many students that were interested. I think they had a total of 10. I know they're adding Diamond to the team, so 59. Maybe there's not 59 spots left, so let's not pay for things that we don't necessarily need. If we have 10 kids to go, or 50 kids to go, or 100 kids to go.
Yeah, and one of the things that Carrie and I talk about is so MSSU started with this, and they started a program with X number of total heads. But it doesn't mean they can't scale it. If this works well and it continues to grow and progress, I'm sure they can scale it. It's just an issue of scale. There's no reason why you can't do that within the educational world. And so I'm sure that, if it grows, if it's popular at the Seneca School of Diamond, us, I am certain MSSU has the capability to scale this appropriately. And so I think this just gives you a little bit more support and backing to say, hey, look, we're serious about being a partner on this thing.
And these are for juniors and seniors. Abigail, you're a junior.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the Missouri Southern program?
I know a little bit. Last year we had a sort of class meeting kind of about it to try to get us signed up for it, and it did look interesting. But I will say, from what I remember, the programs were very similar to what we do have at FTC. So I'm not sure how many students would be interested. I'm sure a handful would, just because it is at Missouri Southern and all of our dual credit options available. I think I would agree about the per head cost, just because if it is new and we're starting off, I think it would be smart to just see how many would be interested. Because I was interested, but it is a 3-hour block, I'm pretty sure. And I just don't have schedule space for that. And I know FTC, again, like we have our CNA program and all those good things. So I'm not sure how many students would actually go that extra step to go off campus for half the day.
Appreciate it.
Straight from a student's mouth. I think fiscal responsibility is, that was the hardest thing. And like John, I don't think it was a bad program. I just think paying for all those spots, if just like you say, a handful of kids, I don't know. I think it is a program to add to, but I think we have to be fiscally responsible with our taxpayer dollars.
Riley, you work at Missouri Southern. How's the program going, do you know?
I would suggest that Carrie and others speak with Dr. Suzanne Hole and others who are involved in it. I don't work in academic affairs, so I don't have direct impact in that particular area. But I would suggest that our administration methodically speak to them about what that looks like and see the successes and the shortcomings of the program.
So, all right. So there is an action item to pursue an MOU with a per student, the same conditions that were there before, but a per student price instead of 59 times 2,450. That was the action item that was included. And is there an interest to vote on that, or do you have enough direction?
I do not feel we have enough direction because the information that's referenced, the numbers, the dollar amounts are all dollar amounts from the original discussion. We have no information if any of this has changed. And again, the actual action item is incomplete because it references items that are not attached to this document.
We're just voting on, and I haven't seen the action item because I can't log in. We're just voting right now to go to a pay per head. Is that what your action item is?
That's it.
Thank you, John. MOU, I don't understand why it's so difficult to go to a pay per head as opposed to 59. If Missouri Southern, if you guys want to discuss that, but that's all we're voting on. That's the only action item.
That's not my argument. My argument is there is we do not have the full information referenced in the action item to review everything. Therefore, we cannot vote on it because not all that information has been disseminated to the board.
Okay, but here's the issue.
It's irregardless of the numbers. It's the fact we don't have all the information and
But
that
what
information.
do you need to go, we'll pay just for the students that utilize the program, as opposed to let's pay for the whole program. And if we pay for 59 spots, or if they come down to 49, and we only have 4 go, what is I guess I don't understand.
The action item is incomplete. That's all I'm saying. It's missing information. It's information we do not have. Some of us were not on the board when this was presented, so we've not seen all the numbers and everything you have. It's not proper for us to vote on it at this time.
See, because you've got access to the board website, and each one of the pages in there references the action item from the previous meeting. We have access to all those.
But Donnie, all this is, it would then become a component of an MOU that Kerry would go negotiate with MSSU.
I
Kerry would
understand
come
what you're
back to
saying.
us then with a completed MOU, which is not a legally binding document, by the way, if we keep banding around like it is. It's not. It's a member of understanding that says, look, these are the parameters that we agreed to partner with MSSU on. He'll have to come back to us for that for a final vote on it.
Mhm.
Right?
I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's improper to vote for that, and that's all I'm saying.
Carrie, have you discussed this much with Missouri Southern?
Some, yes.
And is it your impression that Missouri Southern has 59 seats available for the Joplin School District?
There are not
How many
59
seats does the university have that could even be available for us?
I'm not sure of the exact number, but it's far less of 59.
So it's a much smaller number.
Well, the whole deal is we shouldn't pay for spots that we're not utilizing, period. I mean, I don't want my tax dollars wasted. I'm sure there's a lot of people here that don't want their tax dollars wasted. All we're voting on is to, per head, if 3 students go, we pay for 3, period. Oh, I don't care if they've got 50 or 100 or 1,000 spots. If we have 3 students go or 5 students, then we pay for 3 or 5 students, that's it. The way it was brought to us before, we paid for 59 spots, whether we had 3 or 5 go. And that's not being fiscally responsible with taxpayer dollars.
When I look back on it, I think that was the biggest thing that people had angst over. It wasn't the program, it wasn't MSSU. It's like all that stuff, it's a good program, good tuck in. It's going to address a certain part of our student body. I think your comments were spot on. I don't know how many kids can actually do that, given the balance of their schedule. But I think it's always appropriate, like, look, crawl, walk, run. And this gets us a first step down that, and we're being fiscally responsible. And I think it's important for us to be partners with MSSU. I got a daughter graduated from there. It's an important part of the community. I've hired many people from MSSU. I used to have interns from MSSU locally in a business. So it is part of our community. And I think it's perfectly appropriate on a per head basis, which is all I'm suggesting here.
You want to put that in a motion so we can close the conversation?
I would put in a motion that we proceed with the action item to move it as a per head cost for the MOSO CAPS program.
I'll second that motion.
All right, so motion by John, second by Derek.
Jeff.
Any other discussion?
Jeff, I want to add something. So I know from my perspective, there seems to be quite an appetite, perhaps for the new board to go towards the MOSO CAPS program. And so one of the benefits of, voting on this tonight would be to give Kerry the opportunity for his high school administration to put together something for these kids to have access to be able to sign up. If it's not something that we decide on tonight, then it's a month or 2 down the road and they approve it, and you have no way to contact the juniors and seniors for next year to get kind of a head start for the program. So if this is something that the future board has an appetite for, I definitely want to pave the way to make that accessible for them. That's where I'm coming from on this.
So your request then is that we present this idea to Missouri Southern and see if they'll accept it?
As on a per head basis. Yep.
All right, please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, that motion passes. Thank you. Next item.
Okay, recognition of board member service. Okay, here we go. Let's go over here to the microphone. 2 more minutes. Okay, can you hear? Can you hear? All right. Three gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for your service to the board over these several years. We've done a lot. We've built buildings, we've come through a pandemic, we've done all sorts of things to help kids get ready with curriculum, instruction, and change the way we're doing business and a lot of methods with our school improvement plan. And you guys are all been a part of that, so I appreciate your service on that. Okay, Jeff, you have the flag. In appreciation of your leadership on the Joplin School Board of Education. Here's a flag and your lifetime pass.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rick Jordan, in appreciation of your leadership on the Joplin School Board of Education.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Appreciate that. Derek, same for you, appreciation of all the meetings and the times we've all worked together. Appreciate your service to the board and the students. Thank you. Very good picture.
Hello, Sarah. Thank you.
Okay. So, next order of business Certification of the election results. Okay, as we all know, on April 4th, there was an election in both Jasper and Newton counties. And as a result of the election, we have 3 new board members. They are Marta Schroeder, Matthew Robertson, and Veronica Gatz-Sherrick. The voters in Jasper and Newton counties have spoken. The administration recommends the board accept the election results as certified by the county clerks of Jasper and Newton counties.
I make a motion that we certify the election.
And I'll second. Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, that motion passes. Okay, I move that we adjourn, send die. And that is an action item, so I'll need
I'll
a
second.
second. Please vote.
Yes.
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 We're adjourn, send die.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And hands and.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now it's time to swear in our new board members. Pat Waldo,
Into the table.
I will give the oath, you do not have to repeat it. When I repeat it, you would say I do and then sign. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Missouri. And I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of school director in and for Joplin schools, counties of Jasper and Newton, state of Missouri, to the best of my ability according to law. Sign.
there's one big chair for David.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so as Joplin School Superintendent, I will call this meeting to order, the 2023 Annual Board Organization Meeting to order. The first order of business is we will open the floor for nominations for board president.
I nominate.
I'd like to nominate David Bieber for the position of president.
I think I heard Don Green.
Yep. I nominate Riley Hartwell for president.
Okay. Second nomination?
I'd like to nominate Dave Weaver.
Okay, so we have Riley Hartwell on the floor first to be considered. And then David Weaver. Okay. Any more nominations? Okay. Call for vote.
Normally, Carrie, I believe there's
Okay.
some discussion around this, is there not?
Not typical, but there could be, I guess.
Okay, so I recall that the last couple of years, we did have some discussion around that.
Well, I checked back, but it's okay to discuss.
Okay, all right, so Riley's on the floor currently. And just, a couple of comments I would make is each and every one of us, we're parents. We've been members of the community for a long time. We have kids, we own homes. And with that comes wisdom, comes leadership, comes experience. I've been a parent for over 30 years. I would tell you from my first child to my last child, I parent differently because you learn those things over the course and time of your life. It's about balance. And that wisdom comes with that experience and that balance. I believe very strongly that that helps guide and shape how we move forward with the Joplin School District. If we move forward with someone that doesn't have that level of experience, I personally don't believe that we do service to our kids, our communities, our parents, the taxpayers, teachers, the administrators. It has nothing to do with the individual. It has to do with life. And all I can tell you is over 30 years of parenting, paying taxes, full-time job, owning a house, putting kids through school, dealing with teachers for many years, some of the wonderful teachers, you tend to learn the balance that life brings from that. And I would recommend, as one of the largest school districts in the state, that for each and every one of us, you think long and hard on if you want to go in a direction that doesn't have that experience. That's it. It's a pretty simple thing to me. I didn't join the board or run for the board for any political aspirations, for anything other than, are we helping our kids? Are we helping our communities? Are we teaching our kids? Are we raising the curriculum level for everybody? No other agenda. And I think that that is where we should be living, to be fiscally responsible and teach our kids with no political agendas. My thoughts.
Okay. Anything else? All right. So we'll have a vote for Riley Hartwell as our first nominee. Ms. Schroeder?
Yes.
Can I go next? Or?
Yeah, you were next.
No.
Yes.
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 Okay, so Riley Hartwell is our board president. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we will have nominations for vice
I
president.
nominate Donnie Gray, please.
Okay. Veronica Sherrick has nominated Donnie Greenlee. Any more nominations?
I'd like to
Chairs already.
John Hurd.
John Hurd, I'm sorry.
John Hurd has also been nominated. Any more nominations? Okay. With that, Donnie Greenlee has been nominated for vice president. Schroeder?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Sure? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Passes. Mr. Greenlee, congratulations, vice president.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so you can move around however you want to move around.
We're fine right now. No need to move.
All right. So the first order of business will be the approval of the agenda. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion approved.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Okay. Approved. All right.
We need to vote on
You need
it.
to vote. Yep, take your votes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, 7-0. Agenda's approved. All right, let's see. Committee assignments. Yep.
So, as we know, the board has numerous committees. I know Dr. Sakenda has oriented our new board members to some of the, what that means for us. Dr. Skid, if you'd like to go through those committee assignments for anyone that may still be wondering, then at the end of that, we will take committee recommendations for those committees that would like to be on as a board member.
Okay, so we have 4 standing committees of the board. We have a policy committee. Policy committee works on any policy that we have in board policy to make sure that we update our board policies and that our policies are in line with the U.S. Constitution, the state of Missouri, and any case law that comes down, and any rules or regulations that we also have through JETHD. That committee meets about 4 to 5 times a year, sometimes a little bit more frequent. The next committee is Data Analysis Committee. That committee meets at least 3 times a year and goes over student achievement data and all kind of different data, measurable data in the district that is part of our school improvement plan or any other measurement for the school district. And then we also have our Safety and Security Committee. The Safety and Security Committee meets at least 3 times a year and works with different aspects of safety and security, not just the physical security, but also emotional and social emotional, those kinds of things for the students. And Mr. Harding leads up that committee. And our final committee is our Finance Committee. Ms. Toff leads that up, and she works with the board leadership in that group to make sure that we are in line with our budget and also look at budget adjustments and also planning for the budget for the following year and look at tax levies as well. So those are the 4 committees.
Thank you, Dr. Skeda. David, please, can you share with us the committees that you'd like to be a part of?
Enjoy serving on the finance committee again.
David with finance. Donnie?
I'll serve on data and security, data and security again,
And safety.
or safety, yes.
Veronica?
Policy, please.
Marta?
Data and security, or safety, excuse me.
I know I
Same
started it.
thing.
And, Matt?
I would like policy and data.
Policy and data. And John?
Data and finance.
I might add data has 4 people, which we will not be able to do. Are we able to have 4 on the committee?
Is that 4?
I would like to not be on the data committee.
That would create
There
a
are
quorum.
individuals that feel strongly.
We only have 1 on safety and security right now.
I could transition.
No, Marta said safety.
Johnny and Marty, you want to say?
Oh, you had 2?
If you need someone to jump around. or-
If you want to go to safety, it's really what you feel most comfortable with.
Whatever.
Is that, do you have that?
So Matt will
He
just
goes-
stay.
Matt will go to safety.
You'll just be on safety, not
In
data.
the place of data.
And I'll do policy as well.
And policy.
Safety and policy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Waller.
I'm glad you all want to hang out with me, though.
Thanks, somebody's keeping track.
So which,
Matt moved
Matt
to
moved from data
as
to
a
safety
safety and policy.
and policy. Okay. John,
Sean Martin.
Margaret, and you. Okay. Any other questions regarding our committee assignments to the board? Okay, the selection of the Missouri School Board Association delegate. So this position has typically been held by Jeff previously held this position. I know that in MSBA, there's a lot of information that's disseminated amongst the board, and it's important that we have a good delegate there to be able to get that information to everybody. So I don't know if anybody here has a strong feeling as to what's involved in that role.
What's involved in that role?
I think really what it is you are the go-between, you're a liaison between us and the Missouri School Board Association. And Karen can probably shed more light on that, but I think that's an accurate characterization of the position.
There's not a ton of meetings, but there are 2 to 3 meetings a year, plus a conference if one wants to go to. And just like Riley said, the conduit between us and the rest of the MSBA delegation.
I'm interested.
Marty's interested in any other interest?
I would be fine with volunteering for that. I've gone to the conferences the last couple of years, and I think they do tie one of those meetings in with the conference, if I remember that right.
Yeah, I think the spring meeting is condensed these days. Do we need to take a vote on that, or do you guys want to make a decision between the two of you who wants to take that position?
Question.
Yes, Ron.
Is there a benefit to having someone in the role for multiple years in a row? Anyone know?
I didn't see that as a benefit, but it really makes no difference to me as to who's in the role, that as long as they're willing to give of themselves and their time to the position. Makes a difference.
I have nothing but time, right?
You have time.
It's up to Marta and John.
We can do rock, paper, scissors, thumb wrestle.
I'm more than willing to do it if you have a strong passion and you like to do it more. You certainly go right ahead.
So Marta's.
Or is it
Hey, Marta is our Missouri School Board Association delegate. Thank you for being willing to serve. Review of policy BBFA.
Do we need to vote on that though?
Do we, yeah, if we had, do we need to vote on that?
No, it's a volunteer position.
Okay.
Okay, you have policy BBFA in front of you, and then I have a signature sheet to pass around. So I'll give you a quick chance to review it, and then we'll pass the signature sheet around.
Dr. Scott, I might just add that it's been brought to my attention that some people in the room are having trouble hearing. I know we have a larger group than normal. So particularly with board members, either close to the mic or if we can turn those up, or just use your teacher voice and make sure that you hear us back in the room. All right? Thank you.
Marta, you don't need to use your teacher voice.
Playground voice?
For those in the audience, BBFA policy is that all directors of the Joplin Schools Board of Education shall adhere to the laws regarding conflict of interest and avoid situations where their decisions or actions in their capacity as board members conflict with the mission of the Joplin School District. Can we have a signature sheet?
Yep.
Thank you. Ready? Yes.
So while we're going around, do we want to get going to celebrate?
Yes, by all means. So at the beginning of every one of our board meetings, we always have the board president's report. There's celebrations that are associated with that. So if we'd like to pull the celebrations onto the board, we'll get started. Our first slide should be micro-credentials in action. These pictures, Sean Howard, Director of Beacon Dunaway, takes time out of her day to teach a class of students the skill of expanding sentences. Sean completed the writing revolution as herself pays micro-credential this year. With that, to submit an example of the work being used with students. She has experienced great success with the students she serves, using new skills from her SPMC. Thank you, Sean, for your work on that. Next slide, math skills equal success. For the 7th consecutive year, Joplin High School captured first place in the large school division of the Missouri Southern Math League competition. The Joplin High School team's mathematical skills proved superior over 5 meets throughout the school year. Aiden Cope was recognized as the top individual performer in the large schools division. Congratulations to all participants and Aiden as an individual top performer. The terrific Twain trio, that's quite the alliteration there. Kelsey Normandy Moreland are extremely proud to recognize Hunter Hyatt and Gabriel Lewis and Owen Devine for reading and successfully passing quizzes over all the Mark Twain nominated books in this year's Reading Award program. This is quite an accomplishment, and we're very proud of their hard work. Way to go, Hunter, Gabriel, and Owen. Over the past few weeks, there have been 6 academic all-star ceremonies that were held to celebrate the achievements of more than 1,350 academic all-stars district-wide. These students worked hard to grow or maintain strong proficiency levels on the Missouri Assessment Program, or MAP test. We have some photos here from Cecil Floyd Elementary School, Jefferson Elementary School, Dover Hill Elementary School, Rural Heights Elementary School, Irving Elementary School, Kelsey Norman Elementary School, Stapleton Elementary School, McKinley Elementary School, Soaring Heights Elementary School, East Moreland Elementary School, South Middle School 6th graders, South Middle School 7th graders, South Middle School 8th graders, North Middle School 6th graders, North Middle School 7th graders, North Middle School 8th graders, East Middle School 6th graders, East Middle School 7th graders, and East Middle School 8th graders. Thank you to all who participated in Academic All-Stars. I have heard nothing but a positive success for that, and it's really been well received in the district. So a round of applause for everybody that worked very hard.
Okay, superintendent's reports. Joplin Schools Foundation works very closely with the district every year. Dr. Mwangi, do you want to take over?
Sure. So I would invite Gloria Turner, and she's going to come forward. Thank you for being patient with us this evening. We have a lot going on, but we have some of our teachers who are here who have received our foundation teacher grants. And so I believe Ms. Turner is going to read their name and the title of their project they submitted. We're just going to have them stand where they are, but then Ms. Coyne would like to get a picture. So if you can just stay standing, we'll kind of get you all together, take your picture, and you can get on your merry way this evening. So we appreciate you submitting and taking time. Anything you'd like to add?
This is one of our exciting things that we do with the foundation. We like to reward teachers who are trying to do something special in their classroom to get kids excited about studying and learning. So our first two, we give Excellence in Education regular grants, and teachers can apply for up to $2,000 for their project that they're wanting to do. And this year we had, I think, 33 teachers apply for these grants. So that's great. We don't have enough money to give them for all of them, but we picked some good ones, I think. The first two are Brandy Landis and Jenny Sanders. They're from Kelsey Norman Elementary, and their grant was for a decodable library for K through 3. The next grant is for Andrew Palmer, and he's at Soaring Heights Elementary, and he wants to start a ukulele program there. And so we have Rachel Snell from the Joplin Early Childhood Center. Her grant was for play environment for learning. Is she here tonight? Okay. Then we have Janet Dowell and Jessica Fletcher Fierro, and their grant was for bringing geography off the page, and they're at East Middle School. Next, we have from Joplin High School, Dan Gilbert, and his grant is for Earth Science Augmented Reality Sandbox. Then we have several from South, North, and Middle Schools, and their grant is for Petri dish research. We have Brad Byers, Megan Olson, Jessica Sewing, Morgan Smith, Jesse Brower, and Jesse Grace. Those are our main grant winners for the up to $2,000 for this year. Then we also, a couple of years ago, started awarding mini grants for teachers can apply for up to $500 for something in their schools. First one is Susan Flowers at Irving Elementary for amplified sound systems. Carly Talent from the Early Childhood Center, and her grant is for problem solvers, creative thinkers. That's her program. Also from the Early Childhood Center, we have Catherine Gabler, and her grant is for outdoor growing and learning. And from Royal Heights, we have Erica DuRosette and Melinda Gibson, and their grant is for an ambient weather station. Then we have several for North Middle School, and the project is Keeping Drama on the North Stage. And we have Lori Olson, Megan Olson, Joseph Rafferty, Armani Mayer, and Jaron Tucker. Last, from Royal Heights Elementary, we have Nasha Robinson, and hers is for the Rosenberg Grant for Literacy. Dr. Rosenberg left us an endowment from the foundation, and he wanted the money to be used for literacy. And so theirs is for A Little Spot of Feelings and Emotions.
Do you want to do the teacher and support staff of the year next? So we can just. Okay, we're going to keep Gloria up here because the foundation also recognizes our teacher and support staff of the year. And so we just had these big announcements, a little surprise fanfare. Mr. Eric didn't know he was getting prepared for his own party, so he was definitely surprised. And then we have Miss Kelly Davis with McKinley, so I'll turn it over to Gloria to announce this.
Also, the Fred and Virginia Last family left an endowment with the foundation, and they wanted an award to go every year to an outstanding teacher. We know we have a lot of outstanding teachers, but this year's award goes to Kelly Davis. And her award is for $500. And we don't want the support staff to be left out, and so the foundation has decided that they should give an award to an outstanding support staff, who also will receive $500. And this year's award goes to Eric Powell. He's at the
All right, thank you, Ms. Turner. Okay, yes.
Just say thank you to our teachers and congratulations. And Mrs. Turner, thank you. And if you would express our gratitude to the foundation. I know you put in a lot of hours, a lot of work raising money on behalf of our teachers, and want to recognize and thank the foundation for all of those efforts. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Okay, now we have some state awards to recognize. First, our Constitution team. Mr. Casey Levy is here with some of his students, or most of his students. As we all know, and it's been around for a while, but our Constitution team has had an excellent track record, either 1, 2, or 3, mostly 1 or 2, it seems like, every year at the state competition. So very proud again of your hard work, all students. And I appreciate the attorneys in town that helped us get there as well. It takes a lot of people to prepare students, but you did the work, and Mr. Kessler, thank you again on excellent here with the students. So Wyatt Hensley. Our powerlifting team had some excellent showings lately. Coach Lyndon here, and our student advisor is one of our powerlifters.
Oh, that's what they're John.
All right, Abigail Eckert. Tristan Stocksdale. Okay. Jeff Beal, Josiah Hazelwood, and Amy Kessler are not able to be here. Congratulations.
Can you get it without us in there?
Nope. Lyndon, get up there. Get up there. Get up there.
Get over here.
We're good.
I can tell.
We're good. They did it.
I couldn't tell you were probably good. And thank you, Coach Lyndon, for all your work and all your.
Very cool.
Okay, Abigail, you're on right now. It's the student advisors report
Yep, so
from Abigail.
I have some more celebrations in addition to what Riley said. These all come from the high school though. And April is such a busy month, I couldn't squeeze everything into it. So next month, some stuff that happened last week, like that'll be first up, science research. So on March 28th, high school students in the science research program, it's a class also, competed at the MSSU Regional Science Fair and along with that, the Missouri Junior Academy of Science. They all performed very well. The group consisted of Anna Barnhart, Hayden Erickson, Joseph Ibsen, Elizabeth Cornish, Vivian Farber, Brooklyn Hiller, and Isabella Eust. They all won awards, everyone won awards. 5 of them qualified for the state competition, and I believe one student did also qualify for the national competition. That was Anna Barnhart. They have many more competitions this week, actually. They have, I think, 3 or 4 competitions this week, so there'll be more exciting news coming up with that. The Constitution team, that was just up here. They won first at the Show Me the Constitution state competition. They're all just up here. I'm really proud of them. Mr. Keskimethi is in charge of that group, but he would like to thank Coach DeGraff and Mr. Seavey for helping them out. Next up, the JAG, or Jobs for America's Graduates program. The first week of April, high school students in the JAG program competed in Jeff City at the JAG CDC state competition. Their business plan team placed first, and they will be going on to the national competition in Orlando, Florida. That's coming up soon here, so we're excited for them. Last up, it was a big weekend for all of our arts and music, so I squeezed them all in here. So first up, vocal for choir. On Saturday the 1st of April, high school students in the choir competed at their annual district competition. 4 student solos received exemplary gold and were chosen to go to the state competition. 4 ensembles also received gold and are going to state. 7 solos received outstanding silver, along with 1 ensemble for that. And then 2 other ensembles received bronze. Then the day before, on Friday, March 31st, our band students in high school, they competed at their district solo and ensemble contest at MSSU. 9 of our soloists received gold and will be going to the state competition with 5 ensembles, so that's pretty good. That's a lot. 2 soloists and 1 ensemble received silver. And then last up, also on Friday, March 31st, we had our orchestra students compete at their annual district solo and ensemble competition. 4 soloists and 4 ensembles received gold and will be going to their state competition. 1 soloist and 3 ensembles received silver for that. So lots of good music stuff going on. And then 1 additional celebration, there's too many to include, but our spring sports have all swung into season. No pun intended because of baseball, but so track and field, we have track and field, girls soccer, baseball, boys golf, boys tennis. There's a bunch of home meets, home games, and everything there. From what I can hear, everyone's doing good so far. So yeah, that's all I have for tonight.
Very good. Thank you, Abigail. All right, a lot of things going on.
Yes.
Dr. Mwangi has some information to talk about state assessment strategies prep and some other things.
Yes, so we are gearing up for state assessments. Initially, with our assessment calendar, we did our spring benchmark with our state assessment. So we will have a very busy May across all of our campuses. We have different assemblies going on. We have different test prep strategies, academic all-stars. We just finished celebrating those. So a lot of good things happening within each of our campuses to get ready for our state assessment. The other thing that I wanted to share with you, in addition to getting ready for state assessment, is we did receive feedback from DESE on our continuous improvement. So new board members may not be totally caught up to speed, but essentially MSIP 6 is how our accreditation model works. And so we've just within the past week or so, I mean, it's very fresh news. We had 30 points that we had eligible to receive for continuous improvement, where we submit our strategic plan, our CSIP, all of our building BSIPs. And so we are very excited to share. We got those comments and scoring back, and we received 100% of those points, 30 out of 30. And I just wanted to share a couple of the comments. So the people who are reviewing the work and going through this, they don't have to put strengths. They can if there's something they really want to call out for districts. And so we had a couple of strengths I think are worth sharing with the board when we're thinking about our planning and strategic focus work that we do. So a couple of the comments: the district plan is overarching. It sets direction for building and operational goals. There's a high level of evidence provided that indicates a strong fidelity among all of our different documents and processes, action plans, and all the steps that we have. They were very impressed with all of our supporting documents. So we have our strategic plan. That's what's behind you up here on the walls. But that is really just the surface level of all of the intricacy that really goes into whether it be a technology plan or a curriculum plan, assessment. all of those things that feed into it. And so that was called out and recognized in addition to how we went through our strategic planning process we didn't just talk to current people in our community. We even reached out to some postgraduates who may not reside in Joplin, but we wanted to know about their experience with Joplin schools. So just a lot of great comments that we received from the state as we kind of went through that process. Our total submission for that was 179 pages. So I'm impressed they made it through all of them. It was quite a lengthy process. And really it comes down to those of you that will serve on data committee with me. All of those documents help drive what you're going to hear and see every day of what we do in our schools. So super proud of the work and the learning service team and the district leadership team for all of their work putting all of that together.
Very much so. Thank you. And I thank you to all of our teachers and principals because it is a lot of work, but we've got our path charted for the next 5 years with minor, hopefully, adjustments as we go. As we find we're doing things well or we think things not going so well, we'll make minor adjustments, but we have our path. So excited about that. We had a couple of grants that we want to talk to you about tonight too. Matt, you want to visit about that? I think the board needs to be aware too that there's several things that we apply for when it comes to grants out there. We're always trying to look at ways to take care of our services and also the bottom line of the district at the same time. So go ahead.
Sure. I don't want to hang on. Just point of order. Where are we at in the agenda? Because I don't see that on here.
Well, it's for some reason it is just an information item that we were going to put under superintendent items.
Okay. All right.
It was just supposed to be there.
I thought I lost my place.
No,
It's
you're
not
good.
here.
You're good. You're
Okay.
good.
Sorry. Go
It's
ahead,
just an
Matt.
information item.
Yes, we had a few grants that we applied for and received, and I'm actually going to ask Darla and Dave to come up because they were very instrumental in receiving these grants. One is an air quality grant that we received that will be in addition to the work we've been doing with Train as far as our indoor air quality goes. And Darla did a lot of work for a grant for that, and I'll let her help walk us through that process and where we're at.
Okay, you want to speak first about the ventilation grant?
That's fine. Actually, it will be part of the consent agenda that you'll be looking at with continuation of our indoor air quality. We applied for a grant and all of the early indications are that we will be approved of that grant later this month. And so we're bringing that to you tonight for approval ahead of time because of the short window of opportunity they're going to give us to spend that money. But this will allow us to continue what we've already begun process for helping across the district with indoor air quality as far as it pertains to comfort levels, CO2, as well as humidity, so that we can provide our students with optimum opportunities for learning. CO2 is found to be very problematic, causes students to be sleepy, not perform as well. And so in helping to take care of that and some minor issues that we've got, this grant will help us take the next step toward supplying fantastic care for our students.
Well, what's the grant worth?
Sir?
$160,000, and it's on the consent agenda somewhere?
It should be under the continuation of the IAQ.
Okay, number 20. Okay.
So it just allows us to add a couple of extra pieces to the process that we were not able to add in with the original. And so this allows us to add in a couple of extras.
Will that also improve air quality, like filtering out cold and flu and that sort of thing? Or is this?
Well, typically, it will help with CO2, but also VOCs, indoor air quality as far as bacteria. All of those things, when we are running our equipment optimally, will allow our air to be as clean, as filtered as possible. We're doing air filtration at the highest level that we can with the equipment that we have. Couple that with the things that we're doing as far as humidity. Lowering humidity will help take care of some of those bacterial issues as well. So the whole thing works together and dovetails that we can supply the best air possible.
Darla?
David? That money has to be spent by July.
Hey, David, could you scoot that microphone over so the audience could hear?
When you say July 31st?
pardon me, those funds have to be spent by July 31st. That's why we wanted it to be approved tonight. And much like the grant that I'm going to speak to you about, it's a feminine hygiene product grant, and we are required to provide those supplies to 6th through 12th graders. And we have been allowed $10,129 for this school year, and then we'll get that same amount again next year. But also, we have a deadline to spend that money, and it's June 1st, so,
Is that also on the consent agenda?
pardon me.
Is that on, that's number 18, okay.
All right.
Good job.
Well, thank you very much. I think the community needs to know too, that we're always looking for funding sources to help supplement what we're doing and make sure that we take care of our kids. Thank you. Okay, now we have Ms. Toft.
Okay, in our health and dental fund this month, we spent, so far for the first 9 months, we spent $5,481,156, which is around 72.6% of our budget, which is we're 3/4 of the way through. So we are on track with that. We have seen approximately 10% increase in our healthcare costs this year. If you'll look at the monthly summary, Eric, that's on the 3rd page. You'll notice on our 9, 10, and 11-month employees, the month of March, we start collecting 2 months premium so that they have insurance through the summer months. So you'll see an increase in March, and that is what that is representative of, is those 9, 10, 11-month employees. You'll also notice that our health claims paid in the month of March were $510,555. So those are some of the highest health claims that we have seen this year. Also, our prescription claims paid, we did receive a rebate this month in the amount of $146,530, which offset. That's why our prescription claims are only $106,000, or they would have been much higher. So are there any other questions on the health and dental?
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay.
Well, we will later in the, yeah, it's in fun.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Okay, on the financial statements, the main change this month is in our debt service fund. And if you will go to the condensed financial statement, you will see we had a payoff of our bonds in 2013. We had bonds that we refinanced in 2017, and those funds, there's been $11,825,000 that were sitting in an escrow account that were being held until the call date of March the 1st of 2023. So those that expense then hit our financials this month, along with the $3.4 million that was approved last month as well for the defeasance on an early payoff on the 20 part of our 20 the same bonds that had a due date of 2031. So this one allowed us $1,088,000 of savings. The 2017 refinancing was a savings of $2,865,000 for the district. We also had $76,900,000 invested with MOSO and MOCAT at the end of March. I'd be happy to answer any other questions on the financials.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
We now move to public comments. Are there any?
No.
Okay, thank you. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Second by Don. Please vote.
Yes.
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 First item on the regular agenda, accounts payable, Ms. Hawk.
Okay. Our bill list this month is $7,700,000 $141,807 and a little bit of change. Compared to a year ago, it was $9,193,567. The main change between the 2 years are a Crossland construction bill that went through last year. And this year, I do want to bring it up because we did finally receive some buses that we had ordered a year ago. So we were able to pay for 5 buses that came in March. We're still waiting for one of those buses, though, that is a lift bus. And the production is just very much behind. But those did come through this month. Any questions on accounts payable?
You said there was income from something from Crossland?
No, the difference between the bill list last year and this year was last year we had a Crossland bill or payment that went through was $1,567,000. So that's why the bill list was higher last year or the year ago than compared to this year.
And motion.
I move that we pay the bills on the accounts payable list.
Second.
Motion by Lonnie, second by Don. Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay. We pay our bills. This is Dr. Milwaukee. This summer swap.
So we'll just,
Yes.
we missed one though. I pulled an item out of the consent agenda. We should have hit that at the end of approving the consent agenda.
Yeah, because it's already been duly noted earlier, so it'll come down. We can do it after summer school application.
We usually do that. We approve the consent agenda and then whatever was pulled out of it, we normally cover next.
Well, if you want to cover it in that order, that's fine. It doesn't matter.
No worries.
Okay. So
Mr. Hart.
Yes, so one of my first assignments when I received this job was to, there was the need for the storage facility on the south side of the soccer field at Joplin High School. And it's a unique spot because I don't think any of us drive down 20th Street without looking at Joplin High School and the soccer fields and the baseball fields. So the idea was constructing a building there that with its intent for storage for many of the items that we need at Joplin High School, especially for athletics. But at the same time, it's something that everybody can see when they drive by. So finding a fiscally responsible storage facility, but at the same time, making it not look like a storage facility was kind of challenge that we were running into was we wanted a storage facility there, but the people we were contacting for prices did not want to price it like a storage facility. So Dave and I kind of went back to the drawing boards and Coach Hyatt and kind of looked at some different plans because we had a drawing and one thing, Gene Earhart, one of our carpenters who actually drew out a sketch that, and I apologize that some of you have not seen that, 4 of you have seen those sketches, but it will very much resemble what the current concession stand looks like at the between the soccer field and the football field. So it'll have a similar look to it. So through some digging and research, Dave and I in some contacts, we have found a local contractor that was able to build the storage facility in the design that we provided for him for much under the budget that was approved by the board. So with your approval, we're going to look to move on with that storage facility. At the same time, we're going to have our guys do the insides. So we're able to save some costs on that piece of it. And then we're going to look at other avenues for the electrical piece as well. So in the long run, we're going to get the facility we want with the look that we want, but at the same time at the price it's the way it should be.
the total cost of it now is what, Matt?
For right now, it's going to be $87,000 for just the outside, the insulation, the doors, all of that.
Yeah, and the only reason I want to call it out is I think Matt and his team did a great job of looking at multiple vendors and continue to fine tune and get the pricing right for us to get the best value for that and build something that's appropriate for what you're storing in it. So I applaud you and your team for the effort that you put forth in that because I think you're using our dollars wisely. I think it's going to look great in the end too. So well done, guys.
Thank you.
Is this the slab of concrete that's been behind the soccer field?
This is a slab of concrete, yes.
As an athlete,
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate because our hurdles just sit out at track and
100%.
everything just sits out. We do have one small storage locker. I was in there today to get some cones, but it's really cramped and dirty and like tiny, smaller than the concession stand.
Mhm.
So I really appreciate for all of our outside sports. I think that would be great.
Perfect. Appreciate that. Thank you.
So I would make a motion.
Cost of the equipment.
I was in there today and I don't know.
She disagrees.
Maybe you got a line of what looks better. I would make a motion to approve this as presented by Matt.
I'll second.
A motion by John, a second by Matt. Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Now, back to the summer school application, Dr. Wong.
Yes, so we have Katie Boer and Ed Ration here to help talk about summer school. Every year, about this time, we bring you a summer school application. The application in itself is digital through our core data system, and so it's not something you'll see readily, but I'll turn it over to Katie. She is our summer school director this year and doing a fantastic job, so I will have her and Ed just kind of share our plans for summer school.
Good evening. We are here to give you an update on the work that we've been doing to plan some engaging learning opportunities for our students. So this year's theme is Level Up. So we're challenging our students to get a head start on their learning prior to going back to school next year. We're planning some really engaging hands-on learning opportunities. We want a lot of collaboration going on in the classrooms. We're looking at some hands-on field trips and communication and partnership with some community businesses and locations so that we can get our kids out and experiencing some things. Principals are in the process of hiring some really enthusiastic teachers right now who are excited about this opportunity. We have over 880 students who have already enrolled K through 8. So we know that families are eager for this opportunity and our teachers are eager to continue working through the month of June. I'm partnering with the high school. They're helping me with the high school process. It's a little bit different than the K through 8. So I'll let Ed talk a little bit about that.
So all of our summer school programs are in person except for 2 classes, which is health and personal finance. They are required to come in at least once during the week to be in person, but those 2 classes are offered strictly online. The rest of the time, it kind of aligns with the rest of the district, May 31st to June 29th. We do have 2 sessions, one in the morning from 8:30 to 11:45, and then one in the afternoon from 12:15 to 3:30. During that time, we offer free breakfast and free lunch for the students that are there. The students, the main priority of that time is credit recovery for students that are not on track to graduate, so we'll facilitate those classes to get them back on track to graduate. Approximately, this will be my first summer to go through this, but approximately there's about 800 students in and around the high school for summer school. Some of those are athletes that go to the PE summer school program, and there's, from what I understand, different times for them depending on if you're male, female, or
Upperclassmen.
upperclassmen.
Yes, in the sports. Like
In different sports too.
Very good. This is a great opportunity to share with the public. If you have not signed your child up for summer school, we often get asked, when's the last day we can do it? It's always ongoing. We like to get enrollment in as soon as possible because it impacts how we hire. So summer school is a unique program where we don't hire if we don't have the enrollment, and we try to maintain the enrollment. And so I also know Katie's working on some STEM challenges across our elementary campuses. So our kids are super excited. I know it's a buzz with my youngest, who is determined she's gonna do some fun things and go some fun places. So it's a great opportunity for us to continue serving our kids, and free breakfast, free lunch for all summer school students.
Maybe you might mention what STEM is. Sure. We have a new board members here, and the public that might not understand some of our educational jargon.
Yes, sir. So we're trying to be responsive to a variety of student needs through our summer programming. So we'll have the traditional reading and writing and math experiences, but we also want to give kids an opportunity to work together and to problem solve and engage in critical thinking skills. We know those are some of the most important skills that our students leave our schools with. So we're designing some weekly challenges that will take place within classrooms, across schools, and then we want to challenge each other across campuses. We really want to get kids excited about that. And so in doing so, we're going to design some things. The acronym is STEM, so it's science, technology, engineering, and math. And so we want to be really intentional about giving our students opportunities to engage in those things, and work together to problem solve. And they won't even realize they're doing that. They're going to have such a good time. So we saw a lot of success with that approach last year at some of our sites, and we're excited to spread that to all sites and offer it to all of our students.
When is the last day to enroll?
We welcome enrollment all the way up to when summer school begins, but we do encourage earlier enrollment so that we can be responsive in hiring.
Any idea the number of students you're anticipating? I mean, you know what last year was, right? So is it going to be same, less, more?
We are hopeful that we'll have more. That was one of our goals, is that we would reach a wider audience, helping families understand that although summer school is after this school year, really it's an opportunity to get ahead for next year. So we want to also provide students with an opportunity through Title I literacy support to help get ready for some reading at the next grade level. So our hope is that by spreading the word about how engaging and exciting this year will increase our enrollment from last year.
Well, last year was kind of a high watermark, wasn't it? I remember the number offhand, but I thought it was the highest we've had.
Yeah, so one of the strategies, so every year we kind of reflect on what we do, figure out what we need to do to improve for the following year. So our enrollment was very high last year. What we noticed is we had students who trickled off as summer continued. And so that really has driven Katie to put together, how do we build in some more of the hands-on and the engaging, and it's not just school, because historically, all of us think of summer school as school, and thinking that you're just doing worksheets, which is not at all what really happens inside those classrooms. So a lot of more field trips than you see in a regular school year, a lot more engaging activities. And then it's a time also where we can experiment with some things. So one of the things at the middle school level that's very unique to what they are going to do this summer is some personal finance classwork. And so that's something that we've just played around with, of different ideas that we can do for that. So there's a lot more flexibility during summer where we can experiment. I am hoping we can push well over 1,500 is just an initial goal. So
best of luck.
Share the message, enroll your kid.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. Entertain motion on the subject application.
Move.
Motion by Marta,
Second.
Okay, motion by Marta, second by Donnie. Please
Thank
vote.
you.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. Mr. Harding, the Joplin High School tennis courts resurfacing and improvements.
Yes, I'm going to ask Coach Hyatt, and if Coach Colthorpe wants to come up as well, he's more than welcome. I know there's a lot of athletics on here, but honestly, in athletics, the three things, you're competing with time, especially to be fiscally responsible. The quicker you can get things on the books with some of these companies that work regionally and even nationally, the better price you can get and get them on the books so they can come and take care of your facilities before it's time to actually start the season. So in this case, we're looking to resurface our tennis courts, and I'll let Coach Hyatt and Coach Colthorpe explain.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and start, Coach. If you don't know, this is Vinny Colthorpe, our head girls tennis coach. Coach Stump, our head boys tennis coach, is currently hosting a match right now, so he couldn't be here tonight. But upon installation of our courts nearly 10 years ago now, McConnell and Associates advised us that you're going to want to resurface these in approximately 8 to 10 years. The importance of the surface is not only playability for our tennis student athletes, but we want to make sure we do a good job of protecting the concrete, sealing any cracks and such as that to protect the longevity of the court. And those are post-tension concrete courts. They're very nice courts that were done very well in the first place, but it's time to, in our opinion, to make an investment to protect those courts and ensure the longevity of them and the playability of them in the future. So there's a few other things that go along with the resurfacing that are included in the action item. First of all, new nets. We have replaced one of the 8 nets over the 9 years that we've been in that facility. We will take that net down if this is approved and store that, and so we have a backup in case something happens with the new nets. But they are starting to degrade and sun fade, and they lose some of their elasticity over time, and so it is time for that as well. And then also an addition for some resealing of the gaps where our sidewalks meet the concrete according to our contractor, it's important that we treat those to try to make those as waterproof as possible. So through the freeze-thaw cycle, as those two surfaces interact, we don't have any issues.
So is it cracked currently? Are the courts cracked? I played tennis, so I know a little more about this.
On our tennis courts, upon inspection, there is one very small crack off the courts between courts 6 and 7, I believe. And so McConnell is going to treat that crack with the fiber as they recoat it to ensure that that does not get any worse.
When you say resurface, so the definition here is you're talking about putting just an overlay on top of it, right?
Yes,
You're not
yes.
talking about tearing it out. It's just the overlay with the new surface material on it.
John, my understanding of the process is they will come in and first of all clean, power wash, scrub everything we have. They will come down with a black sealant coat over the top of our existing courts. There will also be some minor re-leveling of areas we have where the water tends to puddle, those types of things, which is very minor, to try to get everything as level as possible. Then they will come back over that with the actual surface that you see in the same colors that we have right now. We believe those are very classy, look very good. And then on top of that would be the lines painted over.
Okay, so we're not at the point where we've got cracks where we've got heaving and thawing and that happening, because once that happens, you got a whole different
No,
expense
our
level.
courts themselves are in very good shape, and the one crack we do have is very minor. I'll be honest, I didn't notice it in all my time on there. I don't know if you've noticed it or not. He's on there more than I am, but until it was pointed out by my common associates.
And how many courts do we have there?
We have 8 courts.
8, okay. Motion to approve as Matt's presented.
Motion by Don. I guess David started this off.
That's fine, go ahead.
Motion by David.
Second,
by John.
sure, go ahead.
Okay, please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. You, Mr. Harding, the replacement of artificial turf at Joplin High School baseball.
Yes, and like I said, very similar in our process of upgrading our facilities and getting them to a point where we can make the lifespan longer. With them, when Midwest GMAX came in to do the testing of our turf, they saw that the baseball field, probably the next one that needed to be replaced after we replaced Jung Stadium. A couple years ago, we replaced the softball field recently. And if you haven't had a chance to go see the softball field, they did a great job on it. It's beautiful. And so the next step is going to be to replace the turf at the baseball field. And again, I'll let Hyatt jump in there and give more details.
Thank you. So some of you weren't here when we did the softball field, so congratulations to our new board members. Welcome. We look forward to working with you. But we've been looking at this problem for several years. We have had 4 turf fields installed in the fall of 2013. And so we knew that, the average expected life cycle of a turf field is around 10 years. They're warranted for 8. And it's going to come time to replace them at some point not too long after that. And so we've been looking at this and, in consultation with our GMAX testing contractor, which if you're not familiar with GMAX, that is mainly a study of the hardness of the field as far as impacts on the field go. They also test your fiber length and your infill and other things like that. But so we've been taking recommendations for them for several years, monitoring our fields. It was recommended last year that we start on our replacement cycle with softball. The baseball field was recommended to be next. On our current field, if you set in the press box or something like that, you may not notice it because aesthetically, I believe it's still very pleasing. You'll notice some replacement patches and that type of thing in the high wear area. But, the thing with artificial turf is as your fibers start to degrade through sunlight and normal wear, you lose the rubber infill, you lose the sand infill, and it becomes very hard. And so we are starting to see a lot of that. If you ever drive by on Indiana and look down at it, you can start to see the seams in the outfield as those 5-yard wide pieces of turf, were laid down. And so normal wear and tear, but we are starting to show signs of it's time to replace the turf. So what we're proposing to you today is using the same company that we've used to do Jung 2 or 3 years ago, and then softball this past year. It is a very good product, something that we've looked at and we've studied a long time. And so what we feel like we're doing is putting our money into the high use areas and the areas that are going to get the most wear. We believe that we can get well beyond 10 years with this new turf because it is such a great product. And we have some background in that because it's a very similar product to what was put down at Jump 15 years ago that lasted for 12. Couple things that we ran into. The original install was what we call a portable mound. So that mound is a 3-piece mound that in theory can be taken apart and moved off that field if we would ever need to. We have not done that in 9 years and don't anticipate doing that again. The larger problem was we've had some failures in that mound. It is very spongy. It's made out of fiberglass. We had to have Mr. Pettit's carpenters come a few years ago and put that back together because it was broken and falling apart. So we are recommending, as other schools are having similar problems with portable mounds, they are what they are. We are recommending an additional expense to go with a permanent mound that would be turfed, made out of concrete, where we would not have any problems with the fiberglass and the seams that come along. And it will also be better for playability for our kids. And then another thing that we are recommending is nailer boards. So we have the concrete perimeter around our entire turf field. We have treated lumber that was put down 10 years ago nearly now, where the turf is attached, the board is attached to the concrete, and then the turf is attached to that on the perimeter. We know from experience in pulling up the softball field and also with Jump that most likely we're going to have to replace a large amount of that due to rot and deterioration. I think it's important that we look to the future as far as longevity and sustainability. So we've included a price to replace all of that nailer board, as we do not believe most likely it's going to sustain another 12 years if we don't replace it right now. And the new product is a composite product that is fairly new to the market, was not available 10 years ago when we did this. That should not experience the same degradation or rot as lumber. Should last a long time.
So Matt, just a comment is new members of the board. A couple of years ago when this cycle started coming up, we had asked Matt and the team to go price what would it cost to convert everything back to grass, to say, hey, what's the best spend? Is there a safety consideration and all the rest? And they came back and shared with us that it actually, safety, I think it's 50-50, but the cost to go back to grass and maintain that is actually more expensive than what they're proposing here. So just to share with the group that they did that work, and I think we kicked the tires on the math, and it's very sound. And I know you reached out to other people, I think actually some colleges in the Southeastern conferences, and still said their input. So I think you did a nice job of doing the homework and putting the math together. But this is just a continuation of replacing those fields that they've been working on for the last couple of years. But I thought it was important to call that out.
Correct. I appreciate that, John. And another big piece is just playability. Just the fact that we can have kids on there 7 days a week, 365 days a year, at any time, as long as it's not raining or lightning outside, we can put kids on it and it's not going to tear it down. It's not going to really, I mean, it'll wear it out, obviously, with normal wear and tear, but it's not like grass where if it rains, you got to keep them off. Or I mean, we even had major colleges reach out to us just to come practice on our field, just because they can't get on their own fields. Just to come out and get outside and practice in January and February. So I look at it from a bonus that we want our kids to have the best, and that means all of our kids. And as long as we have a facility where they can get on it, that's what we want. Abigail, you did a great job with the shed as an athlete. What do you think about field turf?
I like it. I mean, I did have a chance to talk to some elementary kids. It was in the consent agenda about replacing the playground surface, and for the kids, it was a little difficult to get them all kind of corralled, but it did. All the kids like the turf. The teachers enjoy it better because it's cleaner, it's safer, and like, again, when it rains, turf is much better than grass. And I do have friends that play softball, and it was recently replaced, and they've been telling me that they love the new turf, how it's resurfaced. There was like rips and holes and everything, and I'm sure the baseball field is getting there too now. Yeah, so I think it's a great idea, and I think it probably is definitely time to
Just a couple of questions real quick. I know 9 years is a little bit shorter than we would have liked to have seen, and there could be a lot of reasons for that. I think the break even on grass and turf is around 10 years or so.
It was 10 years.
And then there's a non-measurable part about the ability to play in relation to when it rains or something. And so those are all good things. But you feel like the new product is going to have more like a 12-year life instead of a 9-year?
Yeah, I definitely do. And I think, you know, I think we were the first in the area to have turf for a baseball field. And so obviously a baseball field's going to wear and tear much differently than a football field or anything like that. So I think what we purchased originally was just probably a learning piece. And obviously how technology changes, the turf industry has changed tremendously on the testing, on the wear, the tear, and even just taking care of turf has changed over that time period. So I definitely think with the quality of turf we're looking to purchase, with a respectable company that's coming from, that puts fields out all over the country, all over the world in some cases, that we're going to get a very good product. And then with some of the upgrades, we're going to get, you know, I think more than 12 years out of it.
Let's make a motion, we approve this.
Second.
A motion by David, a second by John. Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion passes.
Riley, I'd like to make a motion to reconsider agenda item D. We're reconsidering MOSO CAPS.
Say B is in bacon or D is?
D is in dog.
Motion for a second. Motion.
Second.
Okay.
Well, point of order, can you do that?
Yes.
After we've posted an agenda?
By Robert's Rules of Orders, we are able to do that.
Well, it's a good thing I brought the book then.
So did I.
Let's go ahead and find it then. Where's it at? What page?
So, Donnie, what's your?
I think the board president could ask for agenda item to be added.
Well, let's
He
find
can.
it on Robert's rules
Yeah.
first. So where's it at?
Yeah, board president can as well.
So Don, your request is to add it back to either tonight or add it back for further consideration in the future?
To reconsider it this evening.
But I'm calling up point of order first. So show me where it is in Robert's rules before we can move forward with it.
I do not know where it is in that particular book, but from robertsrules.com, it is here. Wikipedia, it is there, as well as in a book that I have, which is a much older version of the one that you have. But there is an opportunity, there are two. There's a motion to reconsider and a motion to reconsider and add to the minutes. Motion to reconsider and add to the minutes means it cannot be reconsidered today. Motion to reconsider means it can be reconsidered the same day, as long as the person making that motion voted in favor of the original motion.
I thought you said it wasn't valid. It didn't have all the information in it.
I voted yes.
I know, but you said it wasn't valid earlier. So should we reconsider it after it is valid?
It's still not valid in my opinion.
Okay.
Because it violates board policy.
Okay.
And I did misspeak earlier when I said legal. I didn't mean legal, I meant valid, because it violates board policy and should never have been presented. Therefore, however.
Okay, but wait a minute, before we get to that.
It's a discussion.
You still got to find it in Robert's rules to say that we can reconsider it. We haven't found that first.
Well, I have it, you can look in your book, you can look online,
we're gonna have to
motion to
find it.
reconsider.
A motion to reconsider,
For a second, I don't care if you have to vote.
if the motion has been either adopted or defeated during the meeting, and at least one member who voted on the winning side wants to have the vote reconsidered, such a member may make the motion to reconsider. The motion can only be made by a member who voted on the winning side. That is to say, if the motion was adopted, the motion to reconsider can be made only by a member who voted in favor of the motion, or if the motion was defeated, then only by a member who voted against it. This makes sense because there's no such person there, blah, 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 blah. Go ahead. Is that what you're referencing, Don?
Yes, it is.
Okay, it's in the book. You are correct.
It was mentioned in previous discussion that regarding the appetite for the new board members would be for MOSO CAPS program. And I feel it's proper that the new board members have a say in this particular agenda item, and I'd like to bring it back up for reconsideration.
Okay. To our new board members, have anything to add to that?
So I may have missed it. I thought we were going to talk to Missouri Southern about renegotiating doing a per student. So
This
we're not
is-
going to do the program. It was going to be a per student cost.
All this is a motion to bring that back, that entire agenda item back to be reconsidered and rediscussed amongst the current board members.
Okay.
Is essentially what that motion does.
Okay.
So what you're trying to do is that everybody here, as with a newly seated board, has the opportunity to discuss the
Yes.
previously.
And then vote on.
And then vote on.
Yes.
that, okay?
And what is the vote for, to participate in it or to?
Right now, it's just a motion to bring it back to be discussed.
Okay, so.
It's not a vote
we need to take
for or
a vote,
against,
we
it's
need
just
to
vote
take
to bring it
a
back.
vote, And then we need to bring it back. to the
Consideration of
Okay.
Yes.
Southern's,
Additional questions about.
the
actual motion
understanding
itself.
which we
Thank you,
don't have
Carrie,
yet.
for sharing your
Well, it's
information.
on- it's in
with us
that.
on that.
It's an action item too.
David?
So we're voting to bring it back for discussion.
Yes.
The Robertson Rules of Orders have.
Did you get logged in?
No,
Yes.
it's public.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to talk about it again?
Yes.
More, okay. No.
Who seconded it?
Mark
seconded it.
seconded.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Robertson?
No.
No, okay.
And the vote is for,
Bring it back to the table.
yes.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Ron?
Back to my original objection of this item. This item violates board policy because all information was not provided with that agenda item. It was referenced in prior discussion that all the information from the MOU was presented in the items, but the MOU is not presented there. And therefore, someone saying it is there does not mean that that item is attached to the document. The document is not there, therefore it is not valid. It violates our policy. We should not be able to pass that.
I don't know what policy you're talking about. The only motion that was passed was that Terry was gonna go negotiate a per head of $2,400, and then he would come back to us. I don't know what policy that violates.
It violates because it references items being attached to the action item that were not attached to the action
The
item.
only motion we passed was to give Terry the authorization to go negotiate a per head cost.
Correct.
That's it.
But that is my argument is the item should have never been brought before the board because all of the information was not complete and was not disseminated to the entire board. My argument is not against what the action item is, it's the fact that the action item should never have been brought to the board. It is not complete
But that,
and all the
the
information is
motion
not
was
there.
just a dollar amount that a per head cost on you.
Doesn't
Can I make
matter.
Has to
a
come back
point?
to us with an MOU.
A point of information directly from the proposal that is attached, that was prepared by Jeff Koch and signed by you. It says that the Board of Education recommends approval of the MOSO CAPS Memorandum of Understanding as presented by MSSU, with the exception that Joplin schools will only pay $24.98 for a student enrolled in the program. So it does reference a memorandum of understanding, which is actually from 2021, I believe. And my concern with this is, one, that's probably not valid any longer from Missouri Southern. And two, the numbers that are probably in the original memorandum of understanding state 59 students. Those spots aren't even available anymore. I think we need more information before we can vote on this. But yes, your proposal actually is referencing a memorandum of understanding that we don't have.
But we don't have, Terry knows, that he has to come back to us and present it to all of us, and that's, we'll have to vote on that. This was just a first step to say, let's take it down the road. But again, Renner, I understand it's not a legal binding document. This is just, I thought, giving him a greater voice to be able to go say, hey, let's get this done. We do support it. How do we negotiate as a per head? And then he would come back to us with a piece of paper that says, for all of us as a board, it would be presented and we would discuss it and we'd have to vote on it. I never thought, and my intent wasn't like, hey, we are pressing forward with a memorandum of understanding from 2021. The intent is to give Carrie the support of our board to say, go get it negotiated and come back to us.
That is how your proposal reads, though, that you signed.
The recommendation does say that.
It references it twice. Doesn't it, Vernon? And there isn't, we can't vote if it's not there.
I would certainly like to see us go to Missouri Southern and see what we can come up with and see what today's offer looks like and discuss it at a future date.
And so if we do wait, it's going to delay, which if we delay, which is kind of why I was trying to get, I was working with Karen the last couple months to get this moving forward. I thought, let's get about the apple with this upcoming school year. If we delay and drag, it's going to cost us a year, potentially with the kids in the district. That's all. And everybody's okay with that. It's fine by me. I was concerned with that.
I understand that, but how do we even know that $2,498 is the right price per head still, when that information is 2 years old?
Again, that's where Carrie would have to come back to us unequivocally and say, here's what the whole thing looks like. What do you guys think? And
The action item dictates this is how much we'll pay. That's in the action item.
It's the authorization on it. And again, if Carrie feels differently or negotiates differently, because he still has to come back to us, maybe the dollar amount goes up, maybe it goes down, but he still would have to come back to us and present it as a board action item.
A proper board action item with all information attached.
A fully completed board action item.
Yes, this one is not.
It never was intended to be done.
It's an action item on the agenda, therefore it does have to be a full item.
Giving him authorization to go negotiate for that. If you guys don't want that, and if one is a little bit seated, wants to review that, by all means.
John, I don't know that it authorizes them to negotiate a price. It authorizes them to go for 2,498. And what we told them, not legally binding, I think all of their contract offers, because if there was a proposal and rejection, it's no longer allowed to reach out. So we would have to reach out to the search and see if they would honor the review or the revision.
Agreed. Yeah.
And that's what I would like to vote on, what the new information or what the current information is.
Mine is that this, we cannot vote any further for this item because it is not valid as it states, not everything's cash. By bringing it back with consideration. It essentially is as it sits, sort of from this body, with a vote, this body, with a vote. Exactly. Yes. It's there. It's there to reconsider, motion to reconsider, because that's what that's exactly what they're saying here, my understanding. That's correct. That's correct. Okay. So if you want to take action, you want to take action, you want to take action, if you don't want to take action. On why this, we still have to discuss it. Discuss take action, so put action, put action, second motion, and second vote, and second vote.
What I hear you saying is you're going to be saying we could as quickly as possible. It's available, you get that in consideration maybe as soon as we can, because the schools are burning out.
I agree. And I thought overall, I was that I want to talk to students and yes, in previous discussions or non-discussions. Just for that, and more if we see that there's an accurate interest. So my comment is this, is Abigail said, hey, I'm going to do students 3 hours. It is a need, then let's look at how we can move together on, move forward, let's say, together to have a deal that's beneficial for Joplin schools at the end of the day, that helps our students and that is responsible for those who we serve. And that was a conversation that was had earlier, and I don't think anybody here is interested in not being responsible for those in terms of a financial obligation to the people that pay the bills here in Joplin schools. So I think that we need to do some due diligence on this. So my thought is, I agree with you, Johnny. I'm not personally comfortable with voting yes on one, a document that's 2 years old, and two, before talking to the leadership of Missouri Southern on these issues. And then if we come back and Carrie starts working with the Joplin School District, and then have a conversation with Missouri Southern, then we can have a greater picture as to where we're headed. And then we can either vote it down, we can vote in favor of it. Yep. But I agree with you that we do need to see more of a complete picture of this.
And we'd also have the information to present to the current sophomores and juniors to gauge interest and figure out how it would impact schedules and such.
Marty, you were there, so you understand the intricacies of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think your perspective on this would be good.
I think we're behind, later in the year. That makes it more difficult. And I do think it would be important to talk to some of the students this year before we move on. I think we had some good numbers from last year. I think good enough numbers to make it work. But we need to also see if there's interest this year.
This year, then that's okay.
Yep.
I don't know if everybody else agrees with that.
I do think it's important to talk to students that are earlier in their high school career.
Mm-hmm.
They probably have more of an open mind about fitting something like that into their schedules than juniors and seniors who already have their schedules planned out for their entire high school career.
But that's where the rub is, that if you're a freshman, sophomore, you'll say yes, because you don't understand the reality of the impact. When you're a junior and senior, you understand the impact that it would have. So to talk to freshmen, sophomore is not going to help. Riley's right that it's a junior senior group that you got to talk to because they're the ones that are impacted by it. The rest is just, it's theory. Junior, senior, it's reality.
John, it would be the
freshman
current.
has already talked with her counselor about planning out her entire high school career.
Well, then
I think the counselors are working with the younger students on that as well.
Well, and
doing some
you would
planning.
talk with the current sophomores who are going to be juniors. For example, Crowder Colleges with their associates program, they come in and talk to current sophomores who will be starting the program in the summer and then continuing it. So if we're talking about dual credit, you really have to start with the sophomores and talking with them because they're the ones who are going to be picking it up as a junior and then as a senior. If we wait and talk to only our current juniors who are going to be seniors, they may not have the flexibility in their schedule or the interest to pick up this program.
Do we also need to take in the financial implications? Because if we're paying for dual credit for some of the students, but not for all of the students, do we need to worry about not having a consistent approach?
I think that's the way the program is designed.
Mm-hmm.
It's just if you elect to do that, that comes with the program.
Okay.
So what is our motion right now?
It was a motion to reconsider, so essentially that item is on the floor for us to re-vote on.
I'll call for a vote on MOSO CAPS item number D. A yes to say we want to proceed forward
With as it's written.
With it as it is written.
But did we vote on reconsidering yet?
Yes, vote to reconsider was the motion to reconsider.
And then no vote.
Did we vote on that?
Bring back on board with
I don't remember
probably
voting on
it.
with a
But I don't
complete
think so.
action item from our administration. Because this is not an action from our administration.
Correct.
So we have to vote on this as opposed to tabling it?
Really, I think we still have to vote on
I do believe the board.
reconsidering it.
Carrie, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe the board could make a motion, or they could make a motion to table and take it back. I mean, if that's what you're asking it what to do, you can make a motion to vote and.
And if we table it, it tables it exactly as it is.
Oh, okay,
The table tables it exactly as it is.
okay.
We did do a vote to reconsider the motion. We already went around and did that.
Okay.
Now I would call for a motion on item number D, consideration of Missouri Southern MOSO CAPS memorandum of understanding.
Yes. Do we wind up at the same place either way? I mean, if we leave it as is, we still have to bring the numbers and MOU
Yes.
to go through. So
Nothing has been approved by this board and Missouri Southern. It takes two to have an agreement, as we all know, so.
So what we have approved is submitting a proposal, and they can accept it, reject it, or amend it. But whether we do this or whether we leave it, we still have to come back, hopefully soon, to figure out which way to go. So if we go through a procedural thing, I think I agree with some of the things that you said, but do we still wind up at the same place? We've got to have a meeting either way.
Right.
Yes, but it's correcting,
Carrie,
and what my consideration is an invalid vote because all the information was not there.
Figured out
We
how
should
that
not
would
be
have
voting.
been that.
But I'm not sure, I agree with that, and I don't want to speak out of line with the board. But if you read the recommendation, given the next board meeting is currently scheduled for May 23rd, in order to participate in this program for the board 23-24 school year, Joplin Schools needs the next 5 weeks to inform and enroll students before the end of the school year. The Board of Education recommends the approval of the MOSO CAPS memorandum of understanding, which I would say is authorizing you to accept that proposal, which I would argue does not exist. And presented by MSSU, with the exception that the Joplin schools will only pay $2,498. So you're not authorizing negotiations. You're authorizing exception of an MOU that does not exist and to only pay $2,498. That's the motion. That's the recommendation of this action item by the people that present.
So I would struggle to vote no and be perceived as I'm against this because I believe in regional partnerships, that we work together to better our community, the city of Joplin, our students, our businesses, all those things. I think it's a good thing. I think what we're trying to do is to iron out the details. And so that's what I struggle with the right way to do this.
Some guidance from Missouri School Board Association on this.
We can make a phone call, but I think would it be possible to amend this motion if they wanted to do that? You could amend this motion, the original motion
We
to,
already voted on the motion to reconsider.
Yeah,
right.
So
Really what we need to do is we need to have a motion for recess. And then can you call MSBA here and after recess?
Yep.
or we can vote to table it and amend the motion at a later date when we have the correct information and an MOU.
do that too.
And I think that sounds like a good.
Which I'm comfortable with. Well, I'm trying to present options.
Because the way it's written
everybody can
now,
have with.
Well, the MOUs on that first action.
You can,
but
you can vote to
it
table.
doesn't exist anymore. That was an MOU from 20.
That's
So-
not an MOU.
So I move that we table this until the next meeting. That's my motion.
Is there a second for Ron?
It's an agreement, basically.
Are you tabling until the May 23rd meeting, or are you tabling until
Okay.
the earliest available schedule to discuss?
I call for
That's
special
correct.
meetings, the earliest convenient time.
Yes, for a special meeting at the earliest convenient time.
So
Yes.
Ms. Sherrick's motion is to table it until the next special session or meeting.
At the earliest, yes.
District.
Okay. With the understanding that we will have updated information to review at that time.
As soon as possible.
Yes, as soon
I would
as
second
possible.
that.
Okay, motion by Ms. Sherrick, a second by David.
So we wind up at the same place essentially?
Just delayed.
If we can get that meeting soon, if we hopefully wind up there as quick as we can.
How soon do we think we can have?
If you won't have a recess, I can make a phone call.
How soon do you think we come up with something? Within a week?
By the end of next week, we can have something.
But your point earlier, David, we wind up in the same place.
And that's what we needed.
So I'm interested in whether Superintendent would like to.
I think we can recess and make a call first. Let's do that.
So the purpose of the call is to speak with the Missouri School Association.
Yeah, to make sure that we can, that we're doing this like the right way to do it.
Okay. Are you willing to withdraw your motion?
I withdraw my motion.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I motion to recess.
Motion by Donnie, second.
10 minutes.
Yes,
No, we have a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Donnie, second by David for a 10-minute recess. Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Meeting is adjourned.
Nice try, Riley.
So we're throwing these motions, like, wait, what did we vote on that one?
Oh, no, I don't know the password. Here.
They can figure it out.
Okay, for board is, we meet after our longer than 10-minute recess. But we even to our attorney, Missouri School Association.
Yes.
Could you please share what Susan Goldhammer from Missouri
Yes.
School Association shared with you?
Yes, and Justin, you can help me out here if I missed something. I think basically where you were at, either to let it go or to not take any action or to table it are viable options. If tabling it is a recommendation the board wants to make, so that can definitely happen.
Okay, then I move again that we table this discussion, table this action item until the earliest possible next special session where we can review current information.
I'll second it.
Motion by Veronica, a second by Matt. Discussion.
I would just say that we're going to end up in the exact same place again.
Yeah.
And okay, but I think we're majoring in minutia right now, and I'm disturbed by that, but we're going to end up in the exact same place. And so unless I misread the board, I thought you guys were all interested in the MOSO CAPS program, especially Donnie, David, Riley. And after listening to you guys, especially you, David, is where I started working with Carrie to try to get this changed. We're going to end up in the exact same place. But we're majoring in minutia now. For what reasons is beyond me.
Yeah, I agree that I'm for the MOSO CAPS. So I think what I'm hearing is this is a procedural issue that we're talking about. So if I'm understanding, it doesn't water down our heart for MOSO CAPS to move forward. It's a procedural issue we've come across. So I would prefer we do it procedurally right if this is what MSBA is said to do. I think we wind up in the same place, but if we take a little bit of extra to make sure we've done a procedural right, I'm okay with that.
But they gave us 3 options.
Okay.
Stay the course, do nothing, or make a change.
And I think what I hear, if I understand the motion, is we're going to table it with the intent that we get more information as soon as possible and reconvene for it.
Mm-hmm. And at that time, can we change the wording on, or?
My preference would be that our administration brings some sort of recommendation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
At which time we can either amend this to match, we can vote it down to go however we need to do. But once we have all the information we need in front of us and accurate and proper, then we can vote on it.
You can vote it up or down.
I'm supportive of MOSO CAPS, John. I am supportive of the program, and I agree with David and Donnie. It's a procedural thing. It's more of and it might be considered a little nitpicky, but it was the wording because we don't have the memorandum of understanding. And to vote and to consider a memorandum of understanding when we don't have one yet, that concerned me a little bit. If it had just said to pursue a revised, I'm going to say MOU, it's much simpler, to pursue a revised MOU, then I could have said, yeah, I get that. I agree with that. But that's not what it said.
Yes, and since myself and Donnie and David were all named in your comment, John, I don't think it's a secret that any of us are supportive of this.
No.
I voted yes for it in the beginning, and then you two voiced your support tonight. So my goal in this would be that everybody can learn about this. I don't think it's fair to anybody to vote on this so quickly that we are hamstringing ourselves in any way. So my comment
But we're not hamstringing.
if I can finish, is that we want to provide an opportunity for 3 to 4 members, 2 more members who were not here at the time, and we're the only 2 people that had an opportunity to actually go through this. And these documents are old and out of date. There's no other time as a board that we have ever consider 2-year-old documents as something that we're voting on. So I want something that's fresh, that's crisp, and that's from Missouri Southern and carry. And I also believe in our administration. So if our administration sees that there's nothing there, then we need to, my personal feeling is to move aside, and so does anybody else here that feels in favor of Missouri Southern CAPS. Or if there is something there, then we need to move forward. But at the end of the day, you as the superintendent, this is your job to do these things. And it's your job to bring recommendations to us, and then we need to weigh those recommendations. So for me, I'm the most comfortable where you're out, bring your recommendation if it's Joplin, Webb City, or Carl Junction, or any other partnering school district, or not something that is on behalf of Missouri Southern, but something that is for Joplin students, and that we can all get behind. Because obviously it seems like we've had some changes at heart, and that everybody's on the same page with this. So let's find a way to move forward and do so with care working in conjunction with all of us. So that's my goal in this.
I call for the question.
So Marta's asking that we vote.
Do we have a second?
She's just asking.
You seconded her table.
Well, no, I have to have.
Her table.
Matt did. Oh, Matt did, sorry.
So Veronica did Matt, so there's a motion on the floor. Please vote, David.
Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so boards, buses, and deltas. So I'm going to say a plus. Appreciate the service of the new board members and appreciate your thoughtfulness tonight in this long meeting, and we still have more to come later and close, but thank you for wanting to serve, and appreciate our board members who are no longer with us here in their service, and all the celebrations we had tonight. I thought that was a big plus of things that are excellent going on in our district, and the main thing is here we're here for the students. So I appreciate the students' efforts.
I would just echo the celebrations. I love getting that around the entire spectrum, their sports, non-sports, the Constitution Club, all the effort that their teachers put into this. I've always been amazed at how much effort and time that they give to this. It's not for the stipend, it's for the fact that they care about our kids, and I never want to lose sight of that. I think we're blessed with that level of caring amongst our teachers and the success of our students. I think it's great.
I'd like to welcome new board members. Happy to have everybody here with us. And I'd like to do a shout out to everybody involved with Academic All-Stars. It was great seeing all those kids up on stage, seeing their reactions. And I look forward to those stages being so big that there's no way we can fit a board member on those surprisers. And there were a couple of students that were that way. Let's get all of them that way.
Okay.
I'm just excited to be here. This is exciting. So, okay.
Anything else? I would like to just add in terms of the Delta, I think that this was Betsy tonight, I don't think that they're all good, they don't have all the answers yet, but I do want to say that I believe in Kerry, what he does, and how he will go get the absolute best deal, job for kids, every day. He goes out and negotiates whatever the proposal is, and brings back to us, and I will just urge all of us are thankful of what Kerry does, and just government that's back to us, however that may be the last time. And the last time is for me, the Delta, earlier John made me find that I lack a lot of things. I'm not apologizing, feel that like that for me, but for me, I hope that when I lack in class, I can make us a lot of
I like it. I appreciate your energy. I like that. It's a fact for me. I have conviction, which is my way to come in. It wasn't directed at you. It was directed at the whole.
There's some things in life that I just don't have. I have the variety of diversity, and I like it
Successful, make you successful. Kids, our school kids, and our school system. That doesn't change. That doesn't change. No issue there.
Call for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I motion to adjourn to closed session per 6.610.021.
Thank you.
Yeah, just adjourn.
Second by David. I'm trying to get that any discussion. Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you.
We can't just adjourn.
Are we gonna stay here or we go next door?
I don't know. Well, I don't know what the password is. Oh, for the computer? I have no clue anymore.